Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the deep end, decoding the actual architecture of existence. We're going to uncover how our physical reality isn't the solid, static thing we think it is, but is actually a rapidly flashing projection. So if you've ever felt like there's just more to the universe than dense matter, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're zooming all the way in on Planck-Time Reality Reconstruction, which is basically the mind-bending secret engine powering the fundamental mechanics of creation.
I mean, just take a second and look at the world around you right now. Are you standing inside a solid, unyielding construct, or are we actually the operators of a highly advanced, totally fluid multiverse? Physicists like Tom Campbell have proposed that reality is actually both virtual and subjective. This suggests we might literally be navigating a deeply complex simulation that's entirely driven by consciousness itself.
Out-of-body explorer Darius J. Wright puts this perfectly based on his own extensive explorations. He points out that this dense physical experience we're all having, it's actually a temporary self-imposed limitation. It's a construct created specifically so our souls can experience contrast, things like limitation, fear, and density. Stuff that's literally impossible to experience in our full, infinite divine state. So it's not a trap, it's a highly sophisticated learning environment.
So, to map this all out for you, we're going to break this explainer down into 5 parts. First, the illusion of solidity, then the fundamental laws of creation, followed by Planck-Time Reality Reconstruction, the subconscious interface, and finally, navigating the multiverse.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the illusion of solidity, shattering the physical myth.
When we think about the physical world, we usually just think of solids, liquids, and gases, right? But as researcher Dana Kippel points out, 99.9% of the visible universe is actually plasma. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some inert, dead matter. Kippel suggests that the substance behind our reality actually has a feeling. It operates as a multidimensional, sentient field, basically a cosmic divine mirror. That is a profoundly massive concept, guys. It means life doesn't just happen to you. It actively responds to your internal state in this continuous, real-time feedback loop.
Moving on to Section 2, the fundamental laws of creation, the universal axioms.
Okay, so think of these 5 universal axioms as the absolute, indisputable source code of the universe. They lay down the strict mathematical parameters for how our reality is projected. First up, continuous existence. The observer exists eternally, meaning absolute immortality. Second, holographic unity. The external world is just an extension of the internal self, so there's no true separation. Third, the present singularity. All timelines exist right now simultaneously, which is what allows for rapid timeline shifting. Fourth is the reflective mirror. Reality perfectly reflects your beliefs, which demands absolute self-responsibility. And fifth, the flux constant. Continuous change is mandatory, driving the perpetual expansion of your soul. These are the core structural mechanics of our existence.
Which brings us to Section 3, Planck-Time Reality Reconstruction, the core mechanism.
Now, if those axioms are the rules of creation, this is the underlying engine that physically renders it all. Just get a load of this absolutely staggering number, 5.39 times 10 to the negative 44th seconds. This is known as Planck time. It represents the exact fundamental interval at which the physical universe completely collapses back into a neutral state. Think about that. Reality is not this continuous, objective, solid structure. It is a highly malleable projection that dismantles completely at this microscopic fraction of a second. To really put that into perspective, our reality is being completely dismantled and then reconstructed from scratch 10 to the 43rd times every single second. I mean, imagine a giant film projector flickering so unbelievably fast that your brain just perceives a perfectly smooth, continuous image on the screen. That is literally exactly what is happening to the physical universe around you right this second. It's rendering existence frame by blindingly fast frame.
So what does this mean? It means physical continuity is a complete illusion. Between every single one of those flashing frames is the zero-point state. That's a neutral void where absolutely nothing of the previous physical reality remains. Nothing. So you might be wondering, what keeps your living room looking exactly like your living room from 1 millisecond to the next? Well, the momentum of reality is maintained entirely by the code of your persistent belief systems and your emotional templates. Your consciousness bridges the gap across these zero-point collapses, essentially acting as the filter that shapes the newly recreated universe over and over again.
Let's transition to Section 4, the subconscious interface, the reality controller. So if the universe is flashing out of existence billions of times a second like a projector, who or what is actually choosing the film? Drawing on cell biologist Bruce Lipton's data, we see a pretty striking disparity here. We go about our days thinking our 5% conscious mind, our willpower and creative desires, is in charge. But actually, a massive 95% of the film running our Planck-Time Reality projector is dictated by hidden, subconscious programs. We're talking pre-installed beliefs and automated emotional programming, most of which were formed before we even turned 7 years old. It's your deepest subconscious beliefs that are the primary authors of your projected reality, not just your conscious willpower.
To really wrap our heads around how we navigate this, channeler Darryl Anka uses an absolutely perfect analogy. Think of it exactly like a television. The actual structure of the multiverse never changes, just like all the broadcast channels are transmitting to your TV at the exact same time. So when you change your beliefs, you aren't physically altering the structure of existence. No, you're merely changing your frequency. That tunes your consciousness into a completely different, parallel, already existing broadcast of Earth. You're literally just changing the channel.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 5. Navigating the multiverse, the formula for reality. Let's look at the actual instruction manual for operating this reality mechanism. This three-step triad structure basically forms the physical mind's prism. Let's trace it. It always starts with a belief or a definition that you hold. That definition then generates an emotion, which is simply energy in motion, creating a specific frequency. That emotion then literally rewires your neurological thought patterns to align with it. Finally, you behave according to this alignment, and that culminates in the exact physical reality you experience. So, the takeaway here? If you want to change your reality, you have to trace the cascade all the way back to that foundational definition you hold to be true.
And applying this specific three-step formula is basically the ultimate mechanical navigation protocol. It's a total hack to stabilize your manifestation loop here in physical density. Here's how it works. Your higher mind communicates through energy, which your physical body translates as excitement and passion. By acting on that highest passion to the absolute best of your ability, but here's the absolute crucial part, maintaining zero insistence on a specific outcome, you allow the universe's mechanics to deliver the optimal timeline. This triad right here, this is the literal engine of conscious reality creation.
Understanding this completely changes how we view existence itself, because consciousness is fundamentally self-reflective and eternal. Seeking actual nothingness is just a mathematical paradox. The second you observe or define a void, bam, it instantly becomes an object of your awareness. You are an eternal observer. True non-existence is simply an impossibility within the overarching architecture of creation.
So, what does this all mean for us? It means you are absolutely not a victim of a solid, immovable universe. You are the conscious, active operator of a fluid, incredibly responsive multiverse, and it's all powered by this Planck-Time engine flashing into existence billions of times a second. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What reality will you choose to project in your next interval? Because the power to shift your frequency and change your channel is quite literally entirely in your hands.